Thank you. The blue looks good on you.
All right, Mitch. Hello, everybody. We are live. We are live.
Live
LinkedIn
action.
Live. Today, we are honoring Flag Day with letting everyone know a little bit more about A Place at Home and a flag that we have here at A Place at Home that we're going to talk about here a little bit later. But there's an opportunity to sign that flag should you make it through our development process. So, we're going to talk through all of these things. We're going to meet Mitch Benson here, our franchise development coordinator, right there, the man with the plan. He works with everyone through this process and leading them up to executive interviews and to Omaha. And actually, Mitch, congratulations. You just hit your 2-year anniversary with A Place at Home.
Woo! How
Way to
about that?
go. It's been
Man,
fantastic having you here. You're doing a great job. I know that our owners sure appreciate all the enthusiasm you brought through their discovery process. And, you definitely bring a special flair to the Place at Home office here in Omaha, Nebraska.
well, it's mighty kind of you, and I tell you, it's been a lot of fun working with folks who begin talking to us in the development department about what is owning a business like. Is that something that they want to do? Does it fit best for them? But really, they're all intrigued by one thing, and that is signing the Place at Home flag. What up?
Ooh,
What
that
up?
is nice.
They come for the
Love the
charming
flag.
conversation and they stay to sign the flag. You know what I'm talking about? Look at that.
Right.
Boom. So I tell you what, why don't we get another signature right on here? I think there's a spot right here. We'll just go ahead and sign it right away.
There we go. But hold on, Mitch. They can't sign yet. There is a process here. We can't just sign up everybody, right? So, but yeah, I would love to help kind of guide everyone here watching today through that process. And that process starts with qualifying our candidates. Mitch, do you want to talk a little bit more about how we qualify candidates and that first step of our discovery process?
I would, and it's an incredibly important part of the step, right, of our process here called the discovery process at A Place at Home. It's all about having that opportunity to talk with folks and just get an idea of what it's like here at A Place at Home, right? And generally speaking, they talk to me first, and so we set up what's called our introduction call, right? I want to get on the phone as fast as we can, right? So that we have that opportunity to have a live call and be, right there next to everybody, right on the call, and just have the opportunity to share the information about A Place at Home. But it turns into a conversation. It's a lot like this. There's stuff we need to talk about, and of course we get all that through. But ultimately, folks who are interested in owning a business, right? Your time is valuable, right? It could be A Place at Home, and if it is, we want to get you there as fast as we can. But ultimately, we want to make sure that you're confident. So we open these kinds of questions like, tell you what, why do you want to own a business? What's wrong with your current career? Why not just stay there, right? And we get those questions of the motivation. And it's like, great. Now that we want to maybe have a change for ourselves, we want to put ourselves in the driver's seat, much like Jared, you did with yourself in this business here with CEO Dustin DeStefano. Once we understand that that's your motivation, we need to ask, why senior care, right? There's a lot of ways you can own a business, thousands of concepts that you could do. Why is it unique, or why is it important for you to be in senior care, right? And that's a lot of great conversation we get to have with people. Could it be that there's a really rewarding purpose behind helping folks, right? And I hope that it is. Could it be an experience that our candidates have had in their own life? Maybe they've needed to arrange the care of their loved one and, had a varying degree of success with that. And they're like, man, I'd like to be a part of that solution. Maybe I want to help with that, right? And when we get to that level, it makes a lot of sense, giving that purpose, giving that reward, so that when your head goes down to the pillow at night that you're doing something that matters, right? And that's a lot of fun, and where we spend a lot of time here at A Place at Home on that introduction call, finding out why here. You know what I mean? And we could talk about that for days. And in some cases we do. You see me pacing back and forth in front of your door the whole time, talking to folks about it, right?
Yeah, no, and I'll tell you what, that is one of my favorite things that I get to learn about people who coming in interested in A Place at Home is that why factor. As you said, there's so many different businesses that people can invest in, but every one of our owners has a special story and meaning behind them wanting to be a part of a company that ultimately helps people. And so definitely love that first part, getting that why out of them and better understanding, what is steering them towards senior care. But that's not all we do in our first qualifying stage, Mitch. Do we have any kind of special reporting tools or assessments, anything like that, that may help to kind of decide where people's strengths are?
Indeed, we do. And it's a great part of this. And I learned from you all about our spot on profile assessment made by Zoracle. 7 different sciences designed to understand where people thrive and how we can best help them. Right. That's a big piece of what we do here. But that information is so important that we come to the end of our introduction call talking about it. Right. Saying, hey, I've got a good read on you so far. We've had a lot of fun. But what we really want to talk about is how all of that motivation, all of that why gets into the driver's seat of an place at home franchise. So tell you what, we're going to let you go. We're going to go have lunch, whatever it was after that phone call. And I'm going to send to you the spot on profile assessment. And the best part is it's not a huge thing. It's not a college course. It takes less than 20 minutes to complete, but it's so valuable so that people get that opportunity to review themselves even. What is your leadership style? What claims itself to be values to you, right? What's important to you? And what we find is that some of our best franchise owners here at A Place at Home identify as a societal value system with a strong level of achiever mentality, right? And that's all about the purpose. It's all about the why. It's about making an impact with folks and knowing that their sustainable business that's going to dominate their market is doing something good for the community, right? And it makes sense. That's what a lot of our franchise owners share as their biggest value set. And when we can bring that in, we can surface that up right there on that spot on profile assessment.
Absolutely.
And we get to see those matches. We get to put them on top of current owners and say, wow, this person exhibits a lot of those things that they did too. So let's bring them in. Let's talk about it. And that's where we head to our next call. After our clients have worked through that process, they've completed our spot on profile assessment and our personal review form, which is more contact information sheet. I can develop all of our paperwork on our side of things so we can move to an exciting stage right after that and talk about that spot on profile assessment.
Yeah, no, that assessment tool is fantastic. We want to make sure we put that link up here on this post to let other people go ahead and take it. It's a free assessment. If anybody's ever taken like a Myers-Briggs or a Strengths Finder, it's very similar to that. It takes a lot of different modalities, a lot of different research tools, and puts it together to say, hey, how are you in business ownership and franchise ownership, and ultimately, how do you really compare with other people who are really doing well at A Place at Home? So awesome tool. We'll get that Zoracle link up here so people can go ahead and take that and see where you come out. I think I know I learned some things about myself when I took it. I had no idea I was so competitive. I had no idea, but it was great.
Sometimes they sneak up on you,
Yeah, right. Well, hey, so that's step one. Qualify. They've talked to you. We've learned their why. The introduction call is complete. You've sent them the personal review form, the Zoracle. And now that they've completed those things, we're also now going to be issuing our franchise disclosure document and getting them some more information that's going to better really educate them on our opportunity. This is the explore phase. Mitch, tell us more about the explore phase.
Right. So it's such a fun opportunity to take that look under the hood of the franchise. Okay. That's where we take folks through the explore phase. Is we issue the franchise disclosure document, which is if you're interested in franchises and people are check them out before, they've probably read a few FDDs, and they're long, but they're really valuable pieces of information, right? This is a huge document that we really talk about all the dollars and cents for A Place at Home. We get people excited about what goes in to making a really successful franchise, right? And that document is something we update every year, something that always has new information that is a wealth of knowledge. But some folks just throw it at our clients and they say, hey, check it out, read it if you want. You know what I mean? And say, if you have any questions, let us know. But not here. That's not the way that we learn to really get that information to people. We'll spend time. on the document, just on a call just like this, where we see each other and we're looking at the document itself, and we read these pages with our clients so that they really understand what it means to them to look under the hood of the franchise, right? Lots of ways to understand what that document is, but when we get that chance to spend some moments with them, we really get to see the really exciting numbers, the programs that we have here at A Place at Home, all right there in the FDD. Right?
Oh yeah, so much information. It can definitely be intimidating, right? We're looking at hundreds of pages. Some FDDs are longer, some are a little shorter, but at least 200 plus pages. But the FDD itself, 23 items, all of which have great information in them. Some we highlight more than others, right? Like how much does it cost? How much can I make? What's my initial investment? What are the fees? All of these things. And Mitch walks through with our candidates and lays those out, make sure that any questions are answered. But another thing that is brought up in the FDD is the territory. Right, that is our franchise fee is going to help you to establish that territory, and that territory of roughly 40,000 seniors needs to be drafted. Mitch, can any area be acceptable, or what kind of goes into that territory?
Yeah, I would say we want to take a special look. You know, it's not just every area. Not every area is where we want to be, but the best part is that A Place at Home has got a lot of open territory, right? So it's not hard to look around and find what we would consider to be a desirable territory, you know, and an optimal territory. So when we do this, we can actually look on our software. We bring a collaborative process into the discovery phase here in Explore, where we sit down with clients sharing the screen and take a look at Houston, Texas, for example, right? We want to understand what Katy, Texas looks like to the west, and we can do it, right? And that's where we really start to analyze the market and show folks where our potential clients are, what it looks like for several different demographics, right? And when we do that, we start to see the areas that are best, right? That really provide a great opportunity for our clients. And when we do this, we start to focus in on a territory that we found to be really successful, which is updated for 2022, a territory consisting of 40,000 qualified senior residents. And that's folks 65 years and older, okay? That's what we look at. And when we're looking at the map, indeed, we're looking at zip codes, right? Population density of those folks within the zip codes. And we can put that together to make a really strong market and a really great area for our franchisees to impact. Okay. Now, me and the candidates, we're over here, we're drawing maps, we're messing with zip codes, we're checking it all out there. But even then, that's not the final word. We send it up the chain to our leaders, right? And leadership gets to take a look and say, Mitch, you got a little carried away over here. There's a lot of zip codes and they're all over the place. So go back, really optimize this territory for our candidate and share it with them. And so we have a little bit of approval process there. And then once we find that gray area, we can then plug that right back into all the great stuff we've learned from the FDD, which starts on that franchise fee of the territory. When we find a great area of 40,000 qualified senior residents, we know that relates to a territory or a franchise fee rather of about $49,500, right? Mm-hmm. Fairly standard with our competitors here in senior care. That's what we're looking at. And it gives a really strong area. There's just more seniors there than other folks might offer you. So you get a lot of great value here at A Place at Home for that franchise fee. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, a couple of things that you mentioned, I think are important to really highlight is one, although we do have 24 fantastic territories currently and number 25 on the way, there's still a lot of open territory. Literally every single major metro out there in the United States, other than Omaha. Omaha is taken, the metro, but other than that, there is room, if not the entire area, available in so many big metropolitan cities and places around the country. We're looking at, like Mitch said, 65 and older qualified residents. We're looking at things like the median household income in those areas, the population density, the senior population density, the 85 and older population, and so forth. That'll be some of your immediate clients. So we'll break all those things down. We'll look at the areas. We'll analyze, okay, what if we shift it over here, over there? What does that look like? And we have the opportunity to do so because we're still flexible in that territory and how we can devise those. So thanks. I appreciate that, Mitch, telling us a little bit more about the explore phase. So now we've learned about them. They've learned about us, right? But now, I mean, they've been talking to us this whole time. It's time to talk to some other people. Not quite yet. No, not yet. We have to make sure this is a sure thing, right? We want to make sure that they're hearing from people, not the ones who are here trying to award the territory, but other owners, right? And we also need to make sure at this time people are financially validated and that they can afford this opportunity, right? The last thing we want is for somebody to start this and not have the financial capacity to grow the business the way that they need to. So that brings us into our validation stage. Mitch, go ahead and tell us a little bit more about validation.
Validation is where everybody wants to go right away, right? Let me just talk to the franchisees. And that makes perfect sense because it's so valuable. Think of yourself as a candidate who's vetting a franchise. You want to talk to the people who were there themselves and ultimately got to the point where they could say yes. Let me just talk to them. Well, those people are busy running their business. So we want to make sure that the person who's interested in speaking with them, our candidates, have everything they need to be successful and to really maximize that conversation. And you're exactly right. At this point, we kind of circle back for a deeper double check on our financial validation, right? That's the validation stage starts there. And it helps when we have our territory solidified, right? It starts to really, in the previous stage, get that investment starting to work out for our candidates. And they get a clearer idea of what their investment might be for them, which ranges at a place at home from 80,000 to 150,000, right? Where did they sit in that level, given the territory they have, given the understanding of the FDD that they've gained? When they get all that sort of stuff, then they can really start to get down to a dollars and cents calculation. And they come to our leadership team and say, great, we're excited. This is our strategy for funding and can provide us financial validation in that way. And we say, excellent, that's a great thing. We're excited to move forward in that path. But now that we've checked that box, we know that we're ready to start carving out some time of our dedicated franchise owners to speak to the candidate, right? Mm-hmm. This is a great phase. We not only let you talk to franchisees, we require it, right? It's a big deal. We want that opportunity for our candidates to hear from those folks who, like we said, got into that position they're in and said yes, right? So we get those conversations, at least three total conversations for our franchisees, and then they get that chance to have a one-on-one call, right? Think of this, up until this point, our candidate has talked to us the whole time. Right? They've talked to the development team here at a place at home. And this for them is the first call kind of outside of our immediate orbit. Okay. And so I prep everybody for that. Look, I'm not going to be on that call. This is a private thing. This is something for you to really drive that conversation with our franchisees. Yeah. Everybody's an open book and they're really excited to share their success and how they've gotten here and their experience, right? But our candidates get that chance to drive that conversation with those franchisees. And it's on the phone, you know what I mean? It happens with half an hour, generally speaking, is what our candidates, typically look for. And when you get that conversation with somebody who's running their business, you get to tell right away just how tight-knit our supportive community is and just how rewarding owning a business that helps our seniors is. And they get to hear that right from those folks doing it literally at that moment. They're turned away, they're talking to a candidate, and when that call ends, they're going to go back to making an impact in their market,
You bet. So they talk to the franchisees. They have these phone calls. What's next?
Yeah. Anything else? There, they're starting to explore, in the validation stage, those folks for those franchisees, and we get that final call in the validation stage with our leadership, and that is Jared Evanich, our president and co-founder. Whoa, I think you know that guy.
Yeah, right. So this leadership touch base call is a great chance for me to do a temperature check, see how things have been going through the process, learn about their validation calls, and if there's any outstanding questions, whether that be just those things that are burning deep down about the business itself or perhaps something in the franchise disclosure document. It does give us a chance to have those conversations. A lot of times also people are wondering some higher level questions like, hey, how should I create this business entity? What do you think about me having a franchise partner? What about other lending options outside of your SBA or maybe a traditional loan? We have a chance to talk about those things and really do a deep dive into making sure that, again, we're all checking off the boxes on each other, and that that they're not only a good fit, but that leadership touch base just really allows us to finalize and cross off any of those outstanding questions. And should everything go well through that leadership touch base, Mitch, we are going to offer them an invite to Omaha, Nebraska. That's right. Here, sunny Omaha, Nebraska. At least it is today. Wait a couple days, that may change. 100 yesterday, and who knows, probably 70 and chance of snow by the end of next week. But hey, it's great here. And but no, our discovery day is what I'm talking about. So we try to get our owners involved, or our franchisees involved, with some on-site visits, but also those who are in that candidate stage, a chance to come and meet us. So Mitch, tell us more about Discovery Day.
It's so fun. It's awesome. Discovery Day is why we do this, is to get that chance to meet a candidate face to face, right? Coming out to Omaha is a lot of fun. You're going to see your friend old Mitch Benson here in the pickup line at Epley Airfield, and we're gonna have a great time. Right, this is so important that our candidates come here. So they just get to put faces to names. They get to double check a culture fit, and we get that opportunity to spend some really important time with them. Right, and so we're gonna make a trip out of it. Our candidates come into town. We get in a nice hotel. We're comfortable. We're taking a load off for a little while, but then we head out to dinner with yourself and Dustin and the leadership team, and we have dinner. We're right there. We're having an informal opportunity to share a meal, to share conversation, hang out with each other for a little bit, right? And we start that way because this business is so relational, right? It's about relationships, about talking to people, and about building rapport with folks. And that's how we want to start, right? We want to sit there right away. People have been flying, for the afternoon. They're probably hungry, right? So we're going to get you some good Midwestern dinner out here in Omaha, and we can sit down and really have that chance to start breaking the ice in person. It's different. The phone call is one thing. We get to take off the headset. Now we see each other in the restaurant, right? And then that's how we start. We've got that opportunity to really meet each other in person and have that relationship built, so that when we come to the next day, we are right here in a Place at Home headquarters, which I've got my little world here that you can see. This is our Discovery Day itself, where our candidates come in and they experience presentations focused on the launch process of their business. How do we take them from this office right here, talking as candidates, to real life franchisees and get that opportunity to get them in their market? What does that training look like? Let's review some of the biggest pieces of senior focused care and how you get out there and make an impact, right? We got to do all of that here in the morning. It's fast and furious. There's a lot of information. It's a lot of fun, and it's all in person. It's right in front of each other, so we get to ask questions as they come up. And so then we kind of downshift a little bit. Let's go to lunch, right? Let's take a load off a little bit and get out of the office so that we can head down to our flagship location, a Place at Home, Omaha, right?
Right. Thank you, Chris and Rick Perkins.
Chris and Rick Perkins are incredibly wonderful people, hugely successful, and some of the nicest folks I've had the pleasure of working with. And we get the chance to take our candidates here to that operating location and visit with them in their office, right? And it's such a huge piece because we talk about this as a business, but it's not necessarily a restaurant that you may have seen next to the shopping mall over there, or a coffee shop that you've driven through. Sometimes it's hard to visualize what the business end of this looks like. And we're going to go there. We're going to walk in and see just how comfortable and how awesome their office can be. Talking to Chris and Rick Perkins of a Place at Home Omaha and Papillion, and get to work with them, and in many cases speak with their staff, right, about the wonderful people that put it all together and keep it going to serve all of their care staff employees as well as their wonderful clients. And that's a moment. Think of that as like an in-person validation call for our candidates, right? They get to do that, but it's not just on the phone. It's right there in real life, right?
That's right.
Right. And it's so awesome, but you're about 3/4 of the day through, you know what I mean, at this point. And so we want to have that chance to bring our candidates back into the office and essentially do, one more check. This is a big opportunity for our leadership team to interview our candidates, right? This is the final interviews of our discovery day, where we this is toward the end, right? We're about to that moment where we're making decisions. Indeed, Discovery Day in many brands is called Decision Day, and we very much expect that to happen here at a place at home. So think of this moment, and Jared, you're right there in the room with Dustin and the leadership team to speak, with our candidates about some final pieces. You think about those things. It's a lot of fun to be in that last moment, right?
It really is. We get a chance to do kind of a final interview, ask some tough questions about anything that may be at all concerning, and really better understand their why through a nice presentation in which they're going to ultimately share the reasons why they want to be an owner. We hear these things, we have those conversations. Ultimately, we have a conversation with the leadership team. We all discuss, what do you think? Are they a place at home, right? Are they care? Will they be the next owners? And should that be a yes? Mitch, what happens? What happens?
Oh man, what happens then is we sign the flag.
That's right. We got the flag.
Boom.
Right? We snap some pictures. You sign the flag. We shake hands. We hug. It's a great time. Yes. It is exciting. And that is what non-officially binds you to a place at home. Right? So we're almost there. The flag is as good as done. Right, Mitch?
It's as good as done. And we just love it because there are some for real things we have to sign, right? But that's not fun. That's not fireworks. That's almost intangible. We want to put a marker in your hand and get you next to all of our great owners here at a place at home and sign your name right next to them. You know what I mean? And then we can do that. And from that moment, you're in. You're in the club. You have shown what it takes to not only be a part of our team, but we've shown what it takes to be a part of your next phase of your career too. And in that moment, we vetted each other to this, this really wonderful and rewarding end. And we can get started on training and helping you build your business and bringing senior focused care into your market, and starting the next chapter.
You bet. Mitch, let me ask you this. We've talked about this 4-step discovery process ending in this signing of the flag: qualify, explore, validate, discovery day. How long does this process take usually?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. What are you signing on for from the first call with me? Generally speaking, we're looking for a process of about 5 to 6 weeks. That's what we've seen. That's what we've seen so far. And it depends on a few things, right? And it depends first and foremost on our candidate's motivation, right? Are we pedal to the metal? Are we moving at, in some cases, I've called it light speed, right, to get through this information? But what it comes down to is there's a lot. This is an important decision, and it shouldn't be taken lightly. And we've designed this process here at A Place at Home's development department to serve up the information our candidates need to feel confident in a comfortable manner, right? So sign yourself up for 5 to 6 weeks of exploration, of validation, and then in that week number 6, you're out here in sunny Omaha, Nebraska, with an opportunity to sign the flag.
Yep, absolutely. And everybody does have kind of their own timeline. They have their own lives, careers, things that are happening. So we have gone 0 to signing the flag in as little as 30 days, and in some cases months and months and months, when there's different things that they need to complete in their own professional careers or personal lives in order to start that business. So we work with the timeline, but generally speaking, 5 to 6 weeks, we can get you to signing. And with that, Mitch, we've talked all about our discovery process. We have celebrated Flag Day by sharing with the world our flag and what it takes to sign it. So thank you, Mitch, for walking us through that process, for your enthusiasm, for 2 years at A Place at Home, right? And anybody out here listening, feel free to message us, to link, to private message, email, call, whatever it takes. Yeah. Let's get you in the process. Let's get you here to signing the flag. All right.
Let's do it. I'm loving it.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody.